Hello everyone, my name is Christian and today we extract data from an invoice to Excel with Power Query. Before we get into doing things, you should know that in order to be able to extract data from PDFs to Excel, two conditions have to be satisfied. First one, you need Power Query. It is a tool available as a free add-in on Excel 2010 and 2013, which you can download from Microsoft website. The link is also available in the description. On clicking the download button, a dialog box opens where you can choose the appropriate download option that suits your operating system. Power Query will then be downloaded. It is also a built-in tool starting with Excel 2016. It is also available on Microsoft 365 account. Second condition is that you need a PDF file that contains selectable data within it. Otherwise, Power Query tool won't be able to identify and extract it. Also, if you want to exercise simultaneously with me, you can download the materials I'm using from the link in the description. For this video, I made up an invoice with selectable data. And to extract it, I need to go to my Excel file, click on Data, Get Data, From File, From PDF, and select my PDF file and then import. After a while, the navigator window will show up. My PDF file, which is I2330, and the Power Query tool has identified 2 pages in this PDF file, which is correct, and it has also identified some tables. So we'll go first and check the tables, and we can see that the table 1 from page 1 contains the data from this portion of my invoice. The table 2 page 1 contains this portion of my invoice, and table 3 contains this portion of my invoice. Page 2 contains this portion of my invoice, table 5 this portion, table 6 this portion. So now we have 2 ways of extracting the data. We can either load one or multiple tables that Power Query has prepared for us, or we could load the whole pages. The issues with the pages is that you'll have to do more cleaning. In my case, I need only the products, the quantities, and the prices. So basically table 3 and table 6. So you can see that now I'm not able to select multiple items. To do that, I need to check this box, select multiple items. And now I'm able to select table 3 and table 6. And now load. So now 2 queries have been made. One query contains the data from table 3, page 1 of my invoice, and the second query contains the table 6 from page 2 of my invoice. If I double click on the table 3, I can see the data from the table, I can see the name of my query, and I can see some steps that have been applied automatically by the Power Query tool. If I click on the source, here it's the data in tables and pages that have been identified. In navigation step, data from table 3 has been selected. In step 3, the first row of my table has been promoted as being a header for my table. And the 4th step is made to change some format for some of the columns. So you can see the price unit column is separated by dot, and it automatically changed to a whole number. But at the moment, we don't need the third step and the fourth one. So right now, the first thing I need to adjust my table is to promote the first row as header. To do that, I'll click on this icon and then use first row as headers. So right now I can see that it has again applied some change type that I don't need actually. Because if you check the price unit column, if you check the price for the Alfa Romeo toy car, it's 85.68, but it's not actually true because the price is $85.68. So the problem here is that the dot is not perceived by my Power Query as being a decimal separator. In my Excel, the decimal separator is the comma. So what I need to do is to change the dot with a comma. To do that, I'll select both columns that have this issue, right click, and then replace values. So now I need to replace the dot with a comma, and then OK. And now if I change the type for these two columns, it will be displayed properly, excepting I have an error here. So the issue here is that I have a space. So now I'll click the replace values and insert before the fifth step. So yes. And now I need to find the space and replace it with nothing. So now the space has disappeared. Now if I click on my last step that I've made, I have no errors because I have removed the space. So at the moment I think my table is quite correct, but I actually need to change the position number and the quantity from text format to number. So I'll select also these two columns, change type and whole number. So right now I have this column as a number, which is correct, the part number column as a text, which is also correct, the description correct, quantity correct, price, and the total price for the units also correct. So now I click close and load. And now my query has been updated and the content from the table is correct with no errors. I close it and I open the table 6. So in table 6 we have the same automatically made steps, the change type and the promoted headers. I delete them. I click on this small icon, use the first row as headers, and now I need to correct some data formats of my columns. So I can see that my position number this time is a number. The part number is a text, which is okay. The description is a text, which is okay. Quantity number is okay. But the price and the totals are a text. So first thing, I'll replace again the dots with commas. So replace value, value to find dot, value to replace comma. And now I will change the type to decimal number. So I have a row with some errors, which is the total USD data. A simple trick to remove this is either you can press right click on the column and click remove errors. This will remove the error from the table. Another workaround would be selecting a column. Another workaround would be filtering and hiding the null rows from my table. So I can see that the row with the error on some of the columns has null data. In this case, I can click, for instance, on position number and filter it. So I won't display anymore the null cells from my table. So the error also disappears. So I'll just click again, remove errors. And now my table seems all right. And then I click close and load. So now my data from table 6 is correct. And now I need to merge these two tables in a single one. To do that, I right click on one of the queries and select append. If we have only two tables to append, it's like this. If we have multiple tables to append, we select this option, where we can see on the left side available tables and on the right side tables to append. So I need the table 6 and I add it for appending. And now I click OK. And now my Power Query tool has unified my two queries. I will change the name of the query to II2330, and because everything is okay here, I'll just click close and load. Usually when we append a query, the Excel creates automatically a sheet for it. So right now I have a automatically new created sheet, I2330. Note that you are not able to delete the previous queries that were used to append the new one. So you could create a new group and hide them. And we have the appended query. So this was the way of extracting and loading the tables from my PDF file. But what about the second way when we want to load the pages? Well, let's figure it out. So I'll load my invoice again, data, get data from file from PDF. Select it again, and this time I will select my 2 pages and load them up. So now 2 new queries have been made, one for page 1 and the second one for the page 2. I'll double click on page 1 and see what the Power Query tool has extracted. So basically it has extracted all the information from page 1. So it's the table 1, 2 and 3. But since I need only the information regarding the products, prices and so on, I don't need of the first 7 rows. So in this case, we'll have to figure out how to remove these rows. The easiest way to do that is to find some columns that have null values on some of the rows. So I can see that column 2 has null values on rows 2, 3, 4 till 7. So what I can do is to filter the null values of my cell. So in this case, I was able to get rid of some of the rows. And now I get one more row that I need to get rid of. To do that, I can either filter the null value from another column, like this one, or I could filter the invoice text. Let's just filter the invoice text. So now we are more or less the starting situation where we were with the table. So now we need to promote the first row as headers. I can see that we have a additional column that we don't need. So this one we will delete. Remove column. And now we check the first column, which is whole number type. It's okay. This one is text. Okay. It's okay. Okay. Now we have to deal with these 2 columns. So I think that I need to delete this step and this step with change type, because my price has been fucked up here. Usually I recommend, whenever you create a new query, just delete the change type step, because it can mess up your data, as in my case. So right now I'll do the same steps that we did previously. Change the dot to comma, replace value, dot and comma, and then remove the space from this cell. So value to find space and replace with nothing. And then change type from text to decimal number. And for quantity and position number, change type to whole number. So now our data looks clean and correct with no errors. And I'll close and load. Now we need to do the same thing for the second page. So double click on it. I can see that we also have the column 2 with null values, but here we are even luckier, and by filtering the null cells we get rid of all the additional rows that we don't need. I think it's because I don't have the invoice text on the second page. And now we promote the first row as headers. And we see that we have 2 additional columns in here that we don't need, so we select them and remove. Then the position number column is whole number, which is okay. The second one also okay. Now our prices are messed up. So here I'll have to delete this change type and this change type. So the position number and quantity we change to whole number, and these two we replace the dot with the comma, and then change type to decimal number, and we close and load. So now we can append these 2 queries, and you can see here that now we have more tables to append, but since we need only page 1 and page 2, I'll add the page 2 and click OK. And now we are getting a newly appended query, which we will call page and load. So we extracted the data that I needed in 2 ways, by choosing the tables and by choosing the pages. With that being done, the tutorial has come to an end. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you did find the tutorial useful, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. See you!